Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
4 meetings down, 4 to go in the Apex Racing League Mazda Cup. You join us on Apex Racing TV here at Lime Rock Park for round 5 of the championship. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick. Andy Thompson joins me in the commentary box. Sam Kume is working on the cameras tonight. And we are in the second half of the season. And we've got a fairly good idea of who the protagonists are going to be in the Pro and Am Drivers Championships. But this Lime Rock Park, a little change from what we've had so far this season. The big circuits of Road America and Interlagos are long gone, and we head to this much smaller circuit located in the United States.
Yeah, so another classic iRacing circuit that you start off as a rookie, back onto a tight, twisty track. Overtaking is going to be a bit more difficult than the long tracks and the big tracks. And it should make for some entertaining races. I mean, we saw the carnage ensue in Summit Point when we went to that event. So let's hope they keep it clean for the race. But yeah. So at the moment in the pro standings, we've got Paul Simonek, who's at 625. So he's got a bit of a lead over Caleb Hybes. But Caleb Hybes has had some real terrible race 2 and 3 results going previously. But he's definitely on pace with Simonek. But Simonek is keeping it quite clean. And now even Pinocchio's come up from behind. So he had a pretty bad first round, and then he's got better since then. So he's in third place at 549 with Tom Fellini on 544. So them four are pulling out a little bit of a gap over Tom McQuell and Arias Germantas. So the top 4 there, Simonek, Hydes, Pinocchio and Valentini, they're the ones to watch obviously for this round, certainly race 1. In the AM standings, Dan Parmley's out in front at 486 points. So he's had a brilliant last 3 rounds, which has brought him up from a terrible round at Watkin Glen, where I think he didn't finish or finished right down the order in race 2 and 3 by some unfortunate mistakes, with Damien McMullen not that far behind him, with Jay Walsh and Wade Proctor in joint third place at the moment. So all to play for on the AMs. It just takes one incident from Dan Parmalee and he'll bring back into Damien's clutches again, Sam.
Definitely, yeah. It's going to be a very unpredictable, that AMS Championship in particular. And by the way, those points do take into consideration the drop score. So across the 8 rounds that we have in this series, 3 races per round, you drop your worst round score. And so those points already take that into consideration. So that's certainly the most reflective points that you're going to see. And not necessarily so easy to make up points from there, because of course, your worst score is already dropped, and so you will need to try to bring them back. Forgot the point I was trying to make there, but basically the drop scores are already applied, and yeah, just 4 meetings of the season to go. Drivers currently in this qualifying session going to be able to get plenty of laps in around this circuit. It's group qualifying, everyone's out on circuit with one another, and so they can set as many laps as they want. Despite the fact that it is quite a tight circuit, this, the draft effect could be quite important because it was ever so close in practice. Lara moves up into 6th position. They're just over the 1 minute barrier. A lot of means coming out of the pits. Churley improves, albeit only in 11th place. New driver for this round of the championship, Andy. It's Viktor Lewandowski from Ukraine. And whilst his iRacing isn't very good, so he's been put in the amateur category, his pace is exceptional. And he's up there in 4th position, so we should not treat him as an AM in this race. We should treat him as a challenger for the overall win.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's come into the championship, obviously, like I say, iRacing dictated he was an AM, but he's mixing it with the pros at the moment. So we'll see how he gets on during the race. It could be that this is his track that he likes to do. So we'll certainly see. But this track, it's only 1.5 miles long, 7 turns. It was actually made in 1957, and in 1959 some residents resisted the track, and 2 restrictions came out of it that are still in place today from that time. One of them is no races to be held on a Sunday, and the other one is any unmuffled races. They're only allowed to have 10 weekends in a year, and that's still going to this day. There you go, some interesting facts on Lime Rock.
That's very interesting. I mean, when you look at the scenery, you wouldn't expect there's too many neighbours, honestly. It looks like there's acres and acres of fields, but yeah, they clear those noise restraints. Very important to see the neighbours. It is very picturesque, actually. I mean, we visited Red Bull Ring in the ARL GT Championship yesterday, and I didn't think it's quite got that scenery, but certainly the trees do look very good. And of course, with this new kind of graphics update, in fact, a complete rehaul from iRacing for this circuit a couple of seasons ago. It does look very good. Just 2.5 minutes to go. Sen moving up, Mantis coming out of the pits, and Simonek a little bit behind at the moment in 4th position. But how many times have we seen that, Andy? I mean, back at Interlagos, I think Simonek qualified in 8th position, I believe. I think he scored more points than anyone else, though, across the meeting. So you can almost guarantee that he's going to improve his form when it comes to the races.
Yeah, he's very consistent racer. He always manages to keep himself out of trouble, but keeps himself in a mix with the fast speeds. But as we can see, normally Caleb Hybes at the top of the grid for race 1 always does well in race 1, and obviously on the reverse grids that today for race 2 it's 8 places and race 3 is 7. He always seems to find the incidents going into the first lap, which puts him down the field, which has really hampered his tour. But he's a very fast driver when he's got the clear track in front of him, and he can certainly keep up with the best of them.
Yeah, and he came with an amazing battle with Roberto Ferrari around this circuit last season. That those two had a remarkable battle for really the entire season, where most races in the first half of the season in particular, they were side by side at one point or another. Ferrari usually came out on top, but I think Hydes was able to pick up a race win, so we do know that he's fairly good. Not too many improvements coming at the end of this one. Sen is currently on an out lap. He's just coming to the end, so he will have time, Sen, for one more lap. So do keep an eye out on him. Also, Hydes just crosses the line. He'll have time for another lap as well, providing that he's got enough fuel, which should be fine because this is a fixed setup series, of course. And Simonek is on an out lap, but he's not going to get round in time. You have to complete your flying lap by the time the 10 minutes is up. So this will be as good as it gets for Simonek, and with so many drivers behind him on flyers right now, he may fall a little bit further down from that 4th position.
Yeah, I think the big thing for this track is that first corner. You've got a bit of a straight, probably about 300 metres down to the first corner. You've got to go into the big bend. That's where you always see a lot of incidences in the iRacing race. People trying to dive up on your inside, outbraking themselves and going wide. So, you know, if you're in the middle of the pack, then you just got to be wary of cars certainly coming from behind you. But yeah, Hydes again, obviously in first place. Sen, he's done really well actually. He's second place. He didn't have a great Interlagos, but he seems to put that behind him and got second place out there. So Lewandowski's the top AM in 7th at the moment, and we've got Parmalee, who's the AM championship leader at the moment, with Doherty behind him in 12th and 13th. So a bit of a space between Lewandowski and Parmalee at the moment.
Yeah, excellent performance from the driver who's on his debut, of course, tonight. So really excellent stuff from him. The qualifying is over, and we can go through the grid. It's Caleb Hydes with a pole position ahead of Philippe Sen, Aris Diamantis and Paul Simonek round out the front couple of rows. And it's Tom Valentini, Ivan Pinocchio, rookie Victor Lewandowski, Tom McQuell, Philip Lauer and Ronald Moons round out a super competitive top 10. In fact, Christian Smits, you can add him in there, another one of the low grip Luxembourg drivers in 11th place. Dan Parmalee is top of the championship contenders, at least, in 12th place. Behind him it's Darren Doherty, Thor Churley, Ross Fowler also on his debut. Best of luck for the 273 tonight. Colin Samson is in 16th. Then it's Damian McMullen who will be looking to gain some places. Jay Walsh, Nathan Healy, Andrew Bramer, Wade Proctor, and I believe starting from the pits will be Rafael Franco and Ismail Arafat, because neither of them set qualifying times. Just a little bit to go in until the green flag is out for this one. I feel like this is quite a big race, is it not, for Caleb? Because, you know, he took pole position at Interlagos, he led in the early stages there, but everything seemed to go against him. It's a real good opportunity tonight, Andy, to make up some points in the championship.
Yeah, definitely. He just needs to be in the second and third races, just be aware of his surroundings, take it easy on the first lap, stay in contention, stay clean, and then start moving up during that. Try not to make some good runs. He always has a good first race. It's the second and third. But with I think it's the biggest field we've got tonight as well, Sam, 23 drivers. So it's good to see that we've got more cars on the grid, although it's quite a small track. So I would imagine that back markers will come into play in this race.
Yeah, could well do. And of course, you can get yourself a sign up as well if you fancy taking part in the action for the final 3 meetings. Head over to apexracingleague.com and find sign up details over in the products section. The red lights are about to come on though. It is Caleb Hydes from the pole position. We're away racing for race 1 of the evening at Lime Rock Park. It's not a bad start for Sen, but I don't think he's going to be able to mount much of an attack heading into turn 1. In fact, all the front drivers were very even off the line. Yamanta's holding on against Simonek, albeit it's very tight. Simonek trying to take advantage perhaps of the driver in 3rd position getting boxed in against his rivals, but he wasn't quite able to make much of an impression. So it's all the same in the top 6. Good start for Philip Lauer actually, who's trying to get past Lewandowski. Has he been able to do that one? It's very close between the two, as Lewandowski is very slow out of the corner, so dropping down is the debutant in the early stages. Now the real tricky triple chicane up the hill. Super prone to accidents this one, super high curves as well, and McQuell is right in the mix. Lewandowski continues to drop down, perhaps trying to get out of other drivers' way, and he's right now with the other AB drivers.
Yeah, so a great start from all the front runners, all seems to get away nice and smoothly. No real position changes, obviously, but Lewandowski, I think he just got offline, and once you get offline in this track, you do lose a lot of places, as we saw there. He's currently down 4 places from where he starts. He needs to get back into his groove and start better, but he's still obviously leading the AMs at the moment, but Dan Parmalee is right behind him now, and race on for the AMs. Oh, going a bit wide there into the big bend. Dan Parmalee's going to be challenging him, I think, very shortly. So maybe his qualifying was a one-shot pony there, Sam.
That could be the case. We'll see if he can recover that form later on. Good start for Fowler actually, up 2 places. He's got past Dan Doherty and Dave McMullen, who really needs a good result to try to take some points out of Dan Parmalee's championship lead. Also up a couple of spots. We've almost got 2 races going on at the moment. The top 7 are all very close. In fact, Hydes has made a bit of a break for it, but 2nd down to 7th are all very close to one another. And then really everyone else is very close to one another at the moment. There are the drivers. That's Yamantis going very wide. Apologies, was it? Yeah, it was Yamantis. So something happened to Yamantis. I don't think we quite saw that one, but he's down into 5th position as we've got Simonek now up to 2nd position. So something happened to Yamantis. Simonek was able to get past, and now he's also got past Philippe Sen. So this is what we always see from Simonek, and a 2nd place I'm sure he would take, because that would really limit the points lost to his main championship rival, Caleb Hydes.
Yeah, Caleb Hydes is getting a little bit of a gap between himself and Simonek at the moment, and obviously Simonek's got to be worried behind him because they're all in a big train behind him, and one false move, a bit of a lunger from Tom Valentini going into the S's, going up the hill. It's always, that corner's really tricky. If you don't get a good exit out of that corner, it compromises your speed all the way down to the first big bend, because this corner coming down here, going down the downhill corner, is actually a really fast right-hander, and Lewandowski's having a bit of a nightmare of the first race. Oh, there we go. Where are we at? Yeah. See what happens here. Oops. Dan Parmalee trying to get on the outside. Yeah. Dan took a bit too much curb there, and unfortunately hit into Lewandowski coming out of the tight chicane down the end of the no-name straight.
Wow, this is close, 3 wide. Jay Walsh in the middle in the red 216 car. But yeah, massive shame there for Lewandowski, and with the small reverse grids tonight, he's going to struggle to really make much of an impression. Just getting within the reverse grid, the 8-car reverse grid for race 3 would be a good achievement, honestly. He's looking really strong in qualifying. Walsh is off the circuit again, and Franco, who started from the pits, Brazilian driver, is trying to get past. He's got held up a little bit now. Walsh doing that very generous early on the brakes, realising that the pro driver, who has fought for race wins so far this season, is going to make his way through. Anyway, it really seems like Franco lost a lot of time coming out of the pits because it's taking a while to get back up there, as there's still Simonek in second place. Valentini is next up to try to get past Sen. And I think he has got that one done. So Sen is dropping down the order. Yomantis was dropping down the order, but he's just set the fastest lap of the race again. So Yomantis, he qualified well up in third place, then had a poor lap 2, but he seems to be coming back, and everyone's getting a bit held up right now behind Tom Valentini after his move previously. Look at that move, diving up the inside for Pinocchio, typical for him, and he's up into 4th position.
Yeah, second all the way to 8th, all in a big line, fighting it out with each other, and Pinocchio doing his usual trick of trying to just sneak in that places into the tight corners you wouldn't expect to, but he made that pay quite well, and got a good run out of the corner on that. So it's he's doing quite well again. He's up to 4th place. Simonek's obviously in 2nd. Hyde's getting further out. So Hyde's fast lap there, 1 minute 0.736. Enough half a second faster than Simonek. So obviously Simonek's getting caught up with Valentine and Pinocchio, and Caleb Hyde's at the moment is getting further out. And then we've got obviously Philip Lauer here with Sen in front of him and Joe Mantis, so there's a group of 3 of them there. So they're all quite packed at the top of the field here, Sam.
Yeah, it's really awesome to watch, and so far they've all kept it fairly well mannered. Some undoubtedly a curse for later on, but it's been great viewing so far. Parmley still leading the way in the absolute category, but look how good Fowler is at the moment, as Simonek and Valentini, just to cut away, they were very close to one another, and this is not at least what I thought Simonek would be involved in, as he's going to go into the wall. That's Valentini, hard into the wall. He's got a fast repair to spare, but that is his chance of getting within the reverse grid for a race 2 gone, and now he's got to try to get to the other side of the circuit. The other driver's doing a very good job of getting out of the way, and Valentini gets what rest of that car. Well, you can't even get it back. The steering's totally broken, and it is an early exit for Tom Valentini. You might see him back out on the circuit later on, just trying to score some points. But this was a collision then with Powell Simonek. And in fact, actually, the contact came just behind. It was Pinocchio. He was just nipping up the inside there, as Valentini, I think, tried to retake the racing line.
Yeah, it's quite hard, that corner, going in too wide into it, because it's so fast, and he was really lucky not to collect another car coming down that fast. But you can see there his steering is completely over to the left, and not even able to make it back to the pits after that short exit, and that's certainly going to put him at the bottom of the grid for the race, and compromises race 2 and race 3 finish. So I bet he's seething in the car, unfortunately, there, but that's racing at Lime Rock Park, and trying to get it up the corners. But we can see here Ari Germantis seems to profit out of that. He's up to 3rd place now, with Pinocchio behind him, Sen behind him, Laura and Moons all in a long line going down through the big bend. Simonek's getting a little bit of a gap now, so it's certainly a fight for 3rd place at the moment with Germantis and Pinocchio. And Pinocchio's just trying to nip at Germantis' heels, but he needs to be aware of Sen behind him. So Sen is just probably biding his time, which is probably not a bad thing with Pinocchio, just to see if any incidents happen in front of him that he can quickly nip through and gain 3rd place there. But yeah, some wheel-to-wheel action here going into Lime Rock Park on race 1.
Matt has had a very quite a roller coaster of a race, because he started 3rd, dropped down to 6th. One way or another, he's managed to get back up to 3rd position. Not sure how he got past Pinocchio, but we'll see if he can hold on to it to the end of the race. The Lithuanian, who of course has taken race wins in this series before, and yeah, all that batting, as you were saying before, really allows Simonek to get away, although about a second behind, maybe still a slight draft for Yomantis. You can see how strong his lap times are, still lapping in the low 2-minute ones. Big shout out, by the way, to SDK Gaming, who are providing our overlay for all of Apex Racing TV's broadcasted series, and of course all the Apex Racing League series as well. SDK Gaming providing an absolutely amazing overlay, also superb live timing as well. So much information that you can load up, lots of customization you can do, and it's also great as a heads-up display as well. So if you go to sdk-gaming.co.uk, you can take advantage of the 14-day free trial, see what you think of it, and I'm sure that you'll be convinced to buy a longer term subscription soon afterwards, because it really is the absolute best in the market in the iRacing world. Moons is, I think, going to be under pressure from McQuell. He did get past McQuell a few laps ago, but if anything, he looks like the most likely to be overtaken. Saying that, actually looks like we're going to see a change for third position, because Pinocchio's almost got underneath Diamantis again.
Yeah, it's great sometimes watching Pinocchio. Some of the lines he takes, not the normal conventional lines that most iRacers take, but it seems to work for him, and he's got some really good results at it. But I think it's all or nothing. It either comes off really well, or it causes a catastrophe and it takes him out of the race. But obviously, same with Diamantis, very good racer, but sometimes is prone to slight mistakes. Certainly if put under pressure, so Pinocchio is probably aware of that, and trying to put him under a little bit of pressure to try and make him mistakes. But as we can see here, a massive long train from from third all the way down to about 8th, 9th place. And I think it's if drivers make a mistake now, because the sort of slipstream is nullified because they're all in a long train. It's just the person at the front that is maybe slowing down, but we've got Simonek at the front of this group, and he's certainly not a slow driver.
Yeah, he's maybe just pulling them along slightly. That's a poor lap actually for Simonek that time, man. A 2 minute 1.5 isn't so bad, but you can see that gap's gone, so I really expected Simonek to up his pace come the race, like he has done in all the other rounds, but I don't think it's the draft necessarily, it's just that he's not as fast, seemingly, as Diamantis behind, or at least it may be slightly more prone to slight driver mistakes right now. So this will be very tasty into the closing stages in the battle for second place. Quick check-in actually on the drivers just outside the top 10, because they've had an awesome battle as well. Still Dan Palmley leading the way, and he's managed to get away. You can see him in the black car with the red stripes just slightly in the foreground. But then Schmitz is in 10th position there, and it's Fowler, Doherty, McMullen and co all bats and bay type behind. I expect Churlo and Franco and Lewandowski for that matter to all start making their way through a bit. They are slightly detached at the moment from the most of those drivers, so that will be a close one as well. 3.5 minutes to go in race 1 of the evening.
Yeah, where does this 15 minutes go? It goes past so quickly. But Caleb Hydes is out of sight now. He's gone up. He's over half a second faster than Simonek, which is very unusual, because Simonek is normally, once he gets out in clear spaces, puts in the fast lap times, and he normally catches up to Caleb, but it seems like he's pulling away, and Caleb's got this track nailed down tonight, and it'd just be interesting to see what he can do in race 2 and 3. Hopefully he'll have a better performance than the previous rounds. But with what you were saying before about the drop rounds, you know, it's exactly that. If you've had your drop round on round 1, then you haven't got any wiggle room to make any more mistakes for the rest of the season, so it puts you under a lot of pressure. So that drop round is quite vital coming towards the end of the season to know where you are from the drivers. If you've lost it in the first race, then that's you on a knife edge. If you have any more bad rounds, then that could be you out of the championships.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure to be under. I remember Michael Evdoka in one of the first series I ever broadcasted, in fact, a couple of 3 years ago. 4 years ago, my god, I'm old. And he messed up the first round, and the pressure on him for the rest of the season was immense to not make any mistakes. And remarkably, he managed to achieve it. He barely finished outside the top 10 for the rest of the season. But no, you are leaving yourself a lot to do. And yeah, with of course we saw the incident earlier on for Valentini. No faults of his own. Incidents like that can so easily happen. So yeah, those consistent results, having a bad round, can really help you out. Sen then got back ahead of Pinocchio, but Pinocchio really wants to get that one back. At the moment, reverse good pole would be Ronald Moons, and potentially these guys could be 3rd and 4th on the grid. Defending right to the line there is Philippe Sen, but Pinocchio with the overspeed, Sen's going to get back underneath. Not necessarily the battle over, but Pinocchio had to really get on the brakes, so get out of the throttle just to avoid running off the circuit. And Sen holds on, but they are falling well away now from Diamantis just ahead. So this will very much be a battle for 4th and 5th, I think, to the end. next lap is going to be the last lap.
Well, certainly weren't there. You could see the lines of Pinocchio saying it was far too tight, went in really deep, and obviously Philipsen just took it on the inside and got him back around the big bend. So, big one off there. Is that by Marco? Yeah, Jerry Walsh luckily got out of the way of the front runners. So that was fortunate that he didn't cause any issues and take some of the front runners out. But real close battle in here at the front of the grid with Philip Lauer in 6th, Pinocchio in 5th now, Jamantis. Jamantis has gone in the pits. What's happened there?
He's got a lot of damage.
Something's happened there to Jamantis. So terrible, as I was saying before. You know, he's prone to making little mistakes. So it'd be interesting to find out what happened there if we can get a replay of that. Oh, he's got a drive-through. He must have too many incidents. He didn't actually stop.
I'm looking at the list and no one's got 16 incidents. So maybe it was a slow down. I don't know. Sure about that one.
Yeah, it's a bit strange. I mean, he's got a hefty bit of damage. See it, the damage has already been caused on his car, so it's a very strange one. Why he would have to go through the pits if it's unless he didn't serve a slowdown penalty and he went over the 30 seconds, maybe, I don't know, but that's a very strange one, and that's put Jamantis now down to 16th, so well out of the reverse grid. So Caleb Hydes obviously takes race 1. He's taken that. Simonek 2nd, Sen 3rd, Pinocchio in 4th. So Caleb Hydes, obviously, he's done his championship, but obviously his main rival is 2nd, so he didn't gain a massive amount of point on him. He just needs to keep it going through, with Dan Palmley being the AM Championship winner, Fowler in 2nd, Doherty in 3rd, and Lewandowski. Obviously, a bit of an introduction into ARL Mazda racing there, going from about 6th place down to 12th. So yeah, welcome to the league.
Yeah, and I'm desperately trying to rack my brains for some Borussia Dortmund or Bayern Munich puns about that performance. But if anyone on the chat knows any, I'd super appreciate it, guys. If you could help us out, because I'm sure there's so many we could do. But my football knowledge is not the best. So yeah, any help you can give us. So there's the results. What happened to Simnek? Where has he gone? Did he get a penalty? I think he got a penalty. Did Simnek? He's down to 18th place. So he must have. I don't know what's going on with those standings. Honestly, that is very weird. Because the gap shouldn't have been that big between 1st and 2nd. Anyway, or maybe it was. Those are the results. We're gridding up already for race 2. It's Christian Schmitz who got the reverse grid pole because he managed to finish in 8th position in race 1. So the top 8 are inverted. Simnek's way down the order, and it's Schmitz who brings us to the green flag. Pulls away from Palmley off the line. McQuell and Moon's fairly even. In fact, I think Moon's is going to have to go defensive heading into turn 1 just a little bit further down the order. Palmley taking a normal racing line, and that's given McQuell the inside line heading into turn 1, and that's an important move for Tom McQuell immediately to move into 2nd place. So it's an all Luxembourg 1-2 at the moment. Palmley in 3rd position. In fact, most of the drivers in the top 9 not changing. Good start for Damien McMullen. He's up into 3rd position as of the amateur drivers at the moment, up 2 places overall, and Simnek trying to make his way up from 17th on the grid. Once again into the bus stop. They were very well behaved earlier on around this chicane, and this time they are pretty well behaved as well. Yamantis also making progress after his late pit stop. He's up 4 places in the first half lap.
Yeah, great start there. Obviously, Palmley got taken by Markwell in the first corner. Went a little bit wide into turn 1, gave Markwell the inside line and lost the place. But in the overall standings, he's well ahead of Fowler in 9th place in the AM Championships. But really strange what happened to Simonet there, and it's just walked into Caleb Hyde's hands as long as he can do well in this race and stay within the reverse grids. Because Simonet's going to have to fight hard to get into the reverse grid of 7 places. So, you know, it's all to play for now for Caleb if he can get some good results out of this round and keep it nice and clean. He should be on for a good points haul and maybe get some points back from Simonek. But some really good part by Smits and Macwell at the moment, with Parmley in third, Moons, Lara, Pinocchio in sixth, with Caleb Pipes behind him, just keeping it clean at the moment. I think he's aware of his previous performances in race 2 and 3, and just trying to keep it a little bit clean and then starting to make his move. But he needs to make sure that he doesn't, trying to get up on this inside of Pinocchio, trying to do a Pinocchio, as I would call it, trying to get him on the inside of different corners. But he's got up a place, so he's up into 7th place at the moment, and he just needs to keep it going, I think.
Yeah, it's Sen's having to go defensive to Fowler, I think. Just saw him dart to the inside. Fantastic livery on Sen's car, and he is past then. Moon's also going past Parmley. We just saw a little bit of that, so Parmley dropping down as you would expect as the amateur driver, but he's come back again. Moon's the 2nd place last season, I believe, in the overall standings. And he is, side by side, heading into the chicane. Now trying to take advantage of this one. Probably does the wise thing, just allows Parmley to take the normal racing line. He could have got his car stuck up the inside there, but contact would have been very likely between the two of them if he had. And now we can't see this, but well, actually you probably can in the mirror. I don't have that turned on because Pinocchio was right on his tail, and if Pinocchio doesn't go for the move, Hides will go for the move. Pinocchio taking a lot of curve there. The Jazz are going onto the grass almost every single lap at the moment. They can afford to pick up the 1x as long as they don't reach 16 across the entire event. And now just having to cover off the inside line. There's a huge crash, a neck breaker in the background, and that's Nathan Healy. He's had a big off there and will have to come to the pits.
Yeah, that's the thing of the downhill. If you get that corner wrong, put your wheels on the grass, you can easily spin out. So we'll see here what happened to him. So did he get it out, or did he? Yeah. Or did he get slightly tapped, or did he actually go in too hard into that corner? But yeah, obviously came around the end of the corner, lost traction in his wheels, spun round and hit the barrier on the right-hand side. So that'll put pay to his race at the moment. But he did, like I said, a bit of cross country there from Philip Lauer. Is that no? That was 192. Is that not Caleb? Yeah, Caleb Hyde's doing a bit of cross-country racing there, going up the chicane at the end of the no-name straight. So yeah, it's an unusual line there for Caleb, and he's lost the place out of it with Germantus now right on his tail.
Yeah, he needs to get to 7th place. He needs that reverse grid pole, and then it would pretty much seal that race 3 win, honestly, because he was absolutely unstoppable in race 1. Drivers have been getting off the line really well so far, actually, in all 3 of the races. There's a fair run down to turn 1 round Lime Rock Park, but I've seen all the front runners very consistent so far. As here comes McQuell on Schmitz. These two are teammates, and so they've got to figure out who's the faster of them. I don't believe Low Grip Racing have taken a race win so far tonight, so far this season. It's looking very good for them because Moons and Parmley are holding up Pinocchio, Lauer, Sen, Hides, Yamantis and co right now. And so probably the main thing right now is just to stay behind one another, I would have thought, Andy, and just try to extend the gap if they can.
Yeah, for sure, though. I mean, they just need to work the slipstreams well. Don't battle each other. They're 3 seconds ahead of 3rd place, and it's their race to lose at the moment. If they work together, they can extend that gap, because obviously from 3rd all the way down to 7th is super close, and they're going to be watching behind them and trying to defend. So these two can get away if they work together. And as their teammates, you would expect them to do that, Sam, anyway, going in there. But we'll see as the race progresses. Obviously 10 minutes left of this race, but we got Pinocchio right on the back of Moons now, so I'm pretty sure we'll be seeing a move in a couple of laps going down into this corner from Pinocchio, doing his little dives up the inside, or the last corner going down into there. But Parmley at the moment, 5th place, doing really well, leading the AMs by quite a few places. 11th place is the next AM, so he's having an outstanding race too. He just needs to keep it there, and he'll get up onto the front of the grid again.
Yeah, that would be terrific for him if he could. He started, I think, on the front row at Interlagos, actually, for one of race 2 or race 3. I'm not sure which one it was, and it went terribly for him, but this race 2 here at Lime Rock Park has turned out much better. This is Fowler at the front of this battle. Valentini now second in line. Apologies, that's Simonek at the front of this one. So Simonek up into 10th position. And Valentini, who also had problems, of course, crashed out in race 1 after a collision with Ivan Pinocchio at the final corner. He has made up many places, more places than anyone else, up 9 places in this one is Tom. As that was lots of curve for Simonek just up the road, really bouncing all over the place, oscillating this car significantly. Of course, this is the Apex Racing League Mazda Cup, and Apex Racing League hosts this series and many others as well. Pretty much every night of the week we've got a series running. GT3s on a Tuesday, we've got Porsche Cups on a Wednesday. We will soon have a NASCAR League actually on a Thursday, and we've also got the new season of the Prototype League on a Friday, and that runs both the Radical SR8 and also the Dallara P2 car. It's an awesome series. We've had a couple of fantastic championships, and sign-ups for that starting in a couple of weeks' time are open at the moment. Just head over to the apexracingleague.com website and you can see the full announcement, and you can also find sign-up details. We've also got another season of the Formula 3 Championship coming up. That's on Saturday evening, so if either of those cars take your fancy, as we've got Simonek round, do certainly check out Apex Racing League. And Simonek, it's gone terribly for him this meeting. It looks so good with that second place we thought in race 1, but this is by far his worst meeting of the season, and he may even need repairs after that shunt at the chicane.
Yeah, he got into all sorts of bent shapes going into that chicane, and then obviously offline coming out of it, and got hit by another car going into the top of it. So as we see here, coming in, I think he took a bit too much braking, that power sliding out around the corner, and then unfortunately got picked up by, I'm not sure who that was, but obviously coming out the other end of the corner, and unfortunately got hit into the wall. So yeah, it's vital trying to get these reverse gaze positions, because the further you are down the field, the more involved with the lower rating drivers, and it becomes a lottery if you're going to make the corners and bits and pieces like that. So it's all gone wrong for Simonek, but from a Caleb Hyde's point of view, he needs to get that 7th place to get the reverse grid pole to make the most of this situation that he's been presented here.
Yeah, and he's still not there, is he? He still needs to make up a place. With 6 minutes to go, and there's some very quick drivers ahead of him. It's not going to be easy. Sen is looking superb right now on the back of Laura. Here he goes on the inside. Sen's going to have the slipstream, albeit he decides to cover off the inside now. Sen's going to have to go the long way, and this doesn't usually work too well for the drivers. You're almost better to try to just tuck in for the second part of Big Bend. But he wasn't able to do that. If anything, Hyde needs these guys to battle a little bit more than they are. There haven't been too many moves between these drivers over the past 5 laps or so. Them to start taking some chunks out of one another. Pinocchio just making a bit of a break for it, actually, so he's managed to get past all these drivers, got past Moons, I think, on that last lap, as we've got Sen round. Now that is what Hyde needs, because Hyde's now up into 7th position. Sen is having to wait for a while. It might be best to reverse for the Brazilian. He's doing the right thing at letting these drivers pass, but that's a huge shame for Philippe Sen, who was having a good race. And I think I think he's beached, isn't he?
Yeah, it looks like he's beached on that corner. I think he was actually probably trying to get out of the way and couldn't. So although we might have thought he was doing a good job, he was actually trying to move and couldn't. It shows a low profile of these cars with how wide these curves are. So it's pretty much beached.
So that was Diamantis heading into the back of Hyde, who headed into the back of Sen, I believe. So Philip was Bayer.
Yeah, certainly. Obviously, Sen's going into the pits now, so that's him going to be down the back of the grid for race 3. But all going to Caleb Hyde's hand at the moment. So yeah, he just needs to try and consolidate, but he's got a real fast driver behind him, Diamantis, that proved in the first round that will be right on his tail and fighting him for that reverse pole position for the next round. 4 minutes left, so another 4 laps to go, so we'll see how he gets. But there's a bit of a gap now between Hyde and Laura, so Hyde is on the fence now of reverse grid pole or not. So there's a big gap between himself and Laura.
Yeah, they really have separated out. They've covered all of them. About 6 cars separated by about a second and a half a few moments ago. But yeah, quite the distance now. McMullen's going to lose out to Franco. Excellent drive from Rafael Franco right now. Last one of his Brazilian compatriots drops down the order. He is up into 10th position. Thanks as well to Apex Racing Academy for sponsoring this series. Apex Racing Academy, along with SDK Gaming, providing prizes for the drivers, and some pretty nice prizes as well, worth in the hundreds of pounds. I think about £800 worth of prizes up for grabs in the Drivers' Championships. Big thanks to Apex Racing Academy, who provides setups, track guides, group coaching sessions for 29 different cars on the iRacing service, and those cars range from pretty much everything on the road side of things and also the rallycross side. So if you want to give that area of racing a go, Apex Racing Academy is certainly the place to go, because we've got some of the best drivers in the world of sim racing as their coaches. Peter Bowman, Kevin Ellis, Antoine Higlin, proper top drivers who can teach you the ropes and get you a little bit more speed out of your driving. So check out apexracingac.com for more details to get yourself a subscription. And yeah, we certainly give them a recommend on Apex Racing TV. Pretty much all of us commentators all give it a good go, because we desperately need all the help we can get. Churlo is battling with Lewandowski. Simonek, Churlo and Lewandowski and Sen is not the places where you'd expect those 4 drivers to be in this race, Andy.
No, not at all. I think Lewandowski's obviously, like we said, has realised that, you know, the ARL racing leagues are highly competitive. You know, they're really good racing, and it's really close. So you've got to be on your top game to do well in these leagues. And he's obviously learning, but it's his first race. He's got another 3 to go, and it'll put him in good stead if he comes and joins us for the next season of the Mazda Cup, Sam. So it's all to play for. But certainly as well, if you're new to joining us on the YouTube channel, please subscribe to us, as Sam was saying earlier on, and click the bell. You'll get links and notifications for all the series that Sam was saying earlier on. So please subscribe and come and join us every night for a different class of racing, a different class of cars. So yeah, come and join us. But certainly at the front now, Schmitz and Marquel are still keeping that gap. Pinocchio seems to be sort of trying to get on the tail of these two, but I think they're too far out in front now. You've got less than a minute, so 1 lap to go into there. But yeah, they've worked really well. Schmitz and Marquel coming on to the last lap. Pinocchio's pulled out a decent lead over Moons. And you got Moons. Parmalee still behind Moons, so an outstanding race for Dan Parmalee again in the AM, who's leading the AM. So it'll be further out on this lap with Lara. Hyde still keeping that 7th place with Germantus right behind him. So yeah, he's going to be on the fence. It looks like he's got a bit of a gap actually to Germantus now, so he might be and he's actually catching up on Dan Parmalee and Lara. So we'll see what the last race. He just needs to keep it clean to get that reverse grip home and try to get out like he did in the first race.
Yeah, Lara making that mistake then on Parmalee. He was, I think, quite willing to give that one up, promote him on the grid for race 3. And also just make sure that he wins in the amateur category. Out in the lead, it has been Christian Schmitz from the green flag all the way to the checker flag. It's not been easy. He's had his teammate right on his tail throughout, but it's a brilliant performance for low grip racing. They've done Luxembourg proud. It's Schmitz and McQuell who win at Lime Rock Park Race 2. Excellent performance from them. They've been a great team joining the series, and that's the least that they deserve. Hydes was able to pass Parmalee right at the finish. Parmalee with a dreadful last lap, you can see there. So it will be actually Dan Parmalee on pole position. It's more points for Hydes. I'm sure he'll be happy with that, and he'll still go in as the big favourite for race 3. But a slight change there. Yomantis unluckily misses out. Fowler Fowler rounds out the top 10, and Damien McMullen rounds out the top 3 in the amateur category. That was a fun race there, Andy, and just smart driving there from Schmitz and McQuell. I mean, low grip racing have been smart throughout the season, whilst other drivers have been very aggressive. They usually manage to keep it quite clean. And just high IQ racing, real consistent driving. You can see how they've been practicing, and that was a good performance. Excellent crashing as well at the end.
Excellent crash there as well. You know, doing it properly. But now, Dan Palmley, he could have been actually playing the sneaky one there because he obviously knew the reverse grid was seventh, so he might have wanted to get onto pole position, which he will be for race 3, and obviously puts him where he was last weekend or 2 weeks ago in Interlagos, where he was on the front of the grid. So let's see if he can have a better race 3 pull away on that. So yeah, so race 2 results: Smits, Maquel first and second, Pinocchio third, Ronald Moods fourth, Philip Laura fifth, Caleb Hides in sixth, Dan Lee Top Am in seventh, Aramus Jamantus in 8th, Rafael Franco in 9th, Russell Fowler second in the AMS in 10th, Damien McMullen in 3rd, Colin Sampson, Darren Doherty, Tom Valentini in 14th, he probably will open for a little bit better, Jay Walsh, Andrew Branham, Paul Simonek in 17th place, so Caleb Hides must be rubbing his hands together, Victor Lewandowski in 18th, Bortolo in 19th, Philippe Sen in 20th, Nathan Healy 21st, Wade Proctor in 22nd, and Ismail Arafat in 23rd. So yeah, race 3 should be interesting, Sam.
Yeah, it's certainly be one to watch. We'll be back with you on Apex Racing TV in just a moment. We're going to show a quick trailer for Apex Racing Academy, who we spoke about a little bit earlier on, but after that we will be with you for race 3 of the evening. Welcome back to Apex Racing TV and the Apex Racing League Mazda Cup. That was a trailer for Apex Racing Academy. Big thanks once again to them for supporting the series and offering some superb drivers, some superb prizes for the drivers. Got 2.5 more minutes to go in this warm-up session, and not too many drivers out on circuit. I'm not surprised. I don't know how on earth drivers actually do warm up or cool down and go out on circuit. I mean, the last thing I want after 30 minutes of action like that is to do more driving. I want to have a bit of a rest.
Yeah, if you don't know the track by now, you never will, I don't think. But people are dedicated, just getting their warm up, seeing if the track temperature is changing and the way the tracks are. So obviously dedicated to their cause, I suppose, on that. But yeah, so an interesting first race. So we had Caleb Hides obviously getting out on the first race. So he's got the second position in this one. So he'll be a strong favourite for race 3. We had Christian Smits for winner of the race 2. So he done really well as that. That will be in... What will he be in? He'll be in 7th place on there. So yeah, some interesting race 3 coming up, I think. And Dan Palmerley in pole position. So we'll see if we can have a better start than what he did at Interlagos.
Yes, and honestly, I mean, maybe could Dutson for the race win in this race 3. Of course, he will have the very competitive Caleb Hides just behind him. It will be interesting to see what Simonek does. I mean, honestly, in this race, Andy, I don't think it really matters, to be honest, what Simonek does, because it would take quite a bad round after this for this not to be his job score. It's remarkable how consistent he's been, arguably how lucky he's been, honestly. I mean, I think he's had fortune on his side, but everything's gone wrong for him tonight. I mean, I still don't know what happened at the end of that race 1, which gave him the 40-second penalty.
He must have got over the limit or something like that, and obviously didn't take his drive-through penalty, which gave him a 30-second gap. That's the only thing I can think of. Because obviously to go from 2nd place down to 18th place, and obviously that was effectively the end of his racing tonight, because he started in 17th. sorry, in 18th, and he only got into 17th in race 2. So exactly like you say, Sam, I think this is definitely his drop round. But what that has done for Caleb Hydes and what it's made interested in the pro is it's going to close the gap on the leader, which makes it really interesting going into the last 3 rounds, and it's all to play for still.
Yes, what we wanted. Some nice close championships. Of course, Parmley extending the amateurs, but yeah, in the pros, it's going to be pretty much as close as it's been for a few meetings. So that is it for the warm up. It's not going to be nighttime. We're in the northern hemisphere for tonight's race, so unlike Interlagos, the judges will be able to see where they're going. And it's Dan Parmley. You won't be able to see any cars in front of him on the grid because he's on pole position. Caleb Hydes in second place. Then it's Philip Lauer, Ronald Moons, Ivan Pinocchio, Tom McQuell, Christian Schmidt, and of course Schmidt was the race 2 winner. Then it's Yomantis, Franco, Fowler, McMullen, Samson round out the top 12. I'll let the rest of the order go through because we've just got a few more seconds, a few more drivers to line up on the grid before we will be away for race 3 of the evening. Potentially more points for Caleb Hydes to close that championship lead up, and potentially some very helpful points for Dan Parmley to extend his amateur championship lead as well. Just got 3 more seconds to go. It seems like Jay Walsh isn't going to be able to make this one, neither is Wade Proctor. So we have got a couple of drivers missing, but all the top guys are there. Parmley versus Hyde. Can he get it off the line well this time? The green flag is out, and it is a strong start for Parmley. Should be covered off from the Australian just behind. Philip Lauer in 3rd position, Moons in 4th. As they head mainly single file into turn 1. Excellent start for Pinocchio, manages to get up the inside of Moons, and Parmley has gone wide there, and I think Hydes is able to take the lead straight away, and I think in fact Parmley will be under pressure from Lauer just behind. There was an issue for Dan Doherty down into turn 1, so he has fallen down the order in the early stages, but it's Hydes leading Parmley, who was able to hold on against Lauer, and a very racy Pinocchio who's already up 1 place, and I think will be up a couple of more very soon.
Yeah, definitely. Caleb Hydes now got out in front, got Dan Parmley onto the left-hander, as conveniently called, because it's a left-hander. And so we should expect him now to start stretching his leg. Dan Parmley might be holding up the guys behind him, but as we saw there, Pinocchio was eager to get past Lauer to try and get up to that top 3 positions, trying to go on the inside down into the S's, but really close racing, all clean apart from obviously Doherty that unfortunately got hit into the big bend on the first corner. Most of the cars are still in the race, but as we see here, Jamantis trying to go around the outside of Smith's, getting onto a little bit of grass, which will compromise his line, and that lets Franco through. Oh, Franco nearly got through there on Jamantis. He's got the inside line for the right-hander, so he may get it done up here, but no. Jamantis still keeps that over Franco going down into there, so just as the way to the line, if you get offline into that big bend, go out a bit too wide, it compromises your speed. A lot of these corners, if you get them wrong, it compromises your speed, especially in these cars, because it takes a lot of time to get the cars up to speed, so you need to try and keep them at maximum speed. But Damien Mullen, he's the 2nd place and currently in 10th place. Simonek's gone up 6 places, currently in 11th. I think it's damage limitation for Simonek, and I think he's got the bit between his teeth and just going to go for it this round. He's got nothing to lose in this, so we'll see how he gets on. So he's like a man on a mission, with Caleb Hydes putting in the fastest lap and 1 minute 0.573, 2/10 of a second over Parmley at the moment, so stretching his legs at the front of the race, with Simonek still trying to get around McMullen for 10th place. So yeah, it's all go on this lap there, Sam.
Yeah, how far could Simonek get? Maybe 6th or 7th is a possibility for him, as he is now finally past Damien McMullen, who's having a very good evening. It's just Parmley is having an extraordinarily good evening. I'm sure these performances for McMullen was last season of won him the AM title, but this season just struggling a little bit. Netcode contact there with Sen, located in South America, and there was a bit of netcode, and there was a bit of contact as well between Healy and Valentini. I wonder if this will get a little bit heated now between these drivers. Healy certainly slower than the two of them, but he's able to keep them behind for now. They've got much better exits though, heading onto the front stretch to start their third lap of the race. Healy blinking in and out. We're going to see 3 wide here. Surely we'll see the amateur driver duck out of it, but there's contact between the two on the inside. He washed out into the path of Sen, and it's ended up very poorly for the Irish driver in the end. Maybe it's taking a moment to collect his thoughts and may even have a tow back to the pits and take an early bath after that.
Pretty sure he'll come into the commentary box afterwards and see the positive side of it, as he always does. But I think it'd be interesting to see that one back, whether he cut across Tom or Tom actually just hit out. So obviously Tom made contact with the back of his car, with the front of his car, and obviously hit him in and played ping pong, because it was actually ping pong the corner, the last corner, the downhill corner that was in there. So he was ping pong in the last corner and in the first corner, and unfortunately he came off in worst place. But we've got Ford Tully in 13th place at the moment. Oh, we're going to see a replay, that'd be good. So yeah, coming down the straights, it was pretty wide into turn 1, doesn't really go. Obviously a bit of blinking there, bit of thing. But Tom on the inside, what does he do? Does he come across? Oh, I think that was maybe a bit of Damien coming into Tom there, that obviously got pushed out into the next one, and unfortunately Nathan come off worse there, I think.
Excellent pace, by the way, from the drivers at the Heights is into the 1 minute point ones, but almost getting under the 60-second mark, which is fastest we've been going since even qualifying. As that's an off of Simonek, who's just taking an excursion. So Simonek stays in 10th place, but he's falling quite far away now from the drivers he wants to be attacking just ahead. So very few changes actually in the top 7 and the top 9 so far. Simonek the highest gainer with 7 places gained. Thor Churley with 6 places gained. Churley with a quiet evening so far for the pro driver. Started low down and has just struggled to really make too much of an impression since then. But this race 3 is going much better for himself at the moment. So yeah, making some good progress still. Lewandowski, Valentini and Sen well out of position in the midst of those 15th place or so. Yamantis moving slightly in the braking zone there to try to hold back Schmidt. They're painfully slow, and they both do a synchronized spin. I mean, go to the Olympic, guys, because that would be a gold medal all the way through. Schmidt, though, is still stationary, the race winner from race 2. Well, that's the advantage of having a road car. Excellent turning cycle, and he gets back on his way as we've got another off. It's Jay Walsh.
Yeah, Jay's now having a good race. I think he was off in the second race. Was it the second one? He nearly hit the front runners. But yeah, no, unfortunately going into that chicane, trying to get too wide into that chicane is a bad idea, because there's only one real line through that. And if you get off them line, as you've seen them curbs and some of these drivers, you actually can get airborne in these cars coming off them. And unfortunately, as you said there, synchronized skidding coming out of that corner, and I'm not sure it was behind him, but he certainly profited out of that, getting out 2 places within the space of 10 meters. So yeah, really good for whoever's in behind that battle. But that's these cars racing. I think obviously what you mentioned about the starts, I wonder if the sequential boxes are now making it a lot easier for the guys to get off the sparks, because there wasn't much wheel spins coming off the start grid, hence why we've had some really good starts tonight. So
that's a good shout, actually. That only coming in a few weeks ago, so no, that's yeah, very good shout. That maybe has improved it for the drivers. We'll certainly make sure to ask the drivers when it comes to the interviews later on. Christopher Koshenek just asking on the YouTube chat, of course, driver in one of the Apex Racing TV series. Apologies, Christopher, but I'm sure you've been in a few of them. Ivan Pinocchio's now off into Narnia right there. That's on the dangers of turn 1. Asking if there's an iRacing cap for this. No, there is not. I've really got iRatings all the way through the spectrum, really, up to upwards of 5k for the top drivers, and the lower drivers hopping around 1k. But everyone's welcome, as long as you've got a D-Class license. You can enter this series and all of the Apex Racing League series for that matter as well. So do certainly sign up if you want to give it a go. that issue for, well, actually, no, Pinocchio only dropped down to 6th place there. He seemed to lose loads of time, but that just showed the gap that they had over Simonek.
Yeah, definitely. And as you can see there, Valentini 7.1. I thought it was 7.1. So we go from 7.1 to I think we've got some 1.1s and maybe even less. In fact, you got a 0.6 Walsh there. Drivers, but like you say, everybody's welcome, and it is a really good way to improve your driving in these racing leagues as well. I mean, I started to do it. I'm only about a 1.1k. Went into the prototypes race against 5k prototype drivers, but it makes you and improves your driving. So I highly recommend it to anybody to give it a go, and it's so much better than iRacing leagues as well. It's so much cleaner, and people give you space rather than yeeting you off every 2 seconds. Although sometimes you do see it in these races, but very, very few and far between at the moment. So, but now Philip Lauer at the moment's in 2nd place. You've got Dan Parmley still keeping up there. Great show from Dan at the moment. You know, really nice guy. Always a positive, and he's had a really good race again. I think the last 3 meetings he's had some really good results. I think Interlagos he got top 3 in all of the AM drivers, so he's certainly a man on a mission, and he's at the moment in 3rd place with the nearest AM driver to him is in 9th, so he's doing a sterling effort here amongst the pros, and I think he'll be going up to pro next season, Sam.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much confirmed already. A successful driver as well in the amateur category in the Porsche Cup Championship. Back in Season 1, so as a quad driver, as Dan may well have driven his real-life MX-5 round this second, certainly driven it round Virginia and round Summit Point, he's talked about before, but yeah, we'll have to ask him if he's made the trip to New England to drive it round this circuit. Franco is past, oh, sorry, I think he's defending. No, I think he is getting past Simonek at the moment. Yeah, he was faster on that last lap, both actually with good times. These were the fastest 2 drivers on track that last time around. I'm sure they'll be a bit slower than that this time because of their fighting, but they are quick. They need to start working with one another. You can see that's a hopeless lap there for Simonek due to the overtaken and maybe an error from himself as well. He is back past. And yeah, they're not realistically going to catch up to the drivers ahead, unfortunately. So very disappointing for them lots. By the way, shout out to Virtual Racing School as well for also sponsoring this series. And Virtual Racing School have over 50 data packs for both road and oval racing as well. So if you like stock cars, for example, then Virtual Racing School offers some terrific setups and track guides on that platform, and also they have some brilliant data analysis software as well, which can really pinpoint where you can improve your driving. And Virtual Racing School and Apex Racing Academy are integrated into one another, so you can take the benefits of each. I love the setup sync technology you have for Apex Racing Academy. If you get a subscription to both, then you can use the setup sync technology for your Virtual Racing School setups and all of that data. So it's worth maybe getting a subscription to both, and then you can really have both bases covered, and everything will be very easy to use with the telemetry and the setup sync put together. Yeah, these guys are still 2.4 seconds off Pinocchio. Should be alright on that one. What other battles do we have? Still fairly close between Lauer, Parmley and McQuell. But just a little bit more separated out, honestly, compared to the first 20 or 42 minutes of racing. Has to do some mental maths there. And but good driving as Simonek just running wide again through the penultimate corner.
Yeah, definitely good maps there, Sam. Yeah, no, but it does seem this 3rd race has sort of been almost like an anti-climax with the first close racing we had in rounds 1 and 2. Still close racing on cap, but exactly like you say, Sam, there seems to be a bit more gaps in this 3rd race where not many drivers are quite close to each other, as we see Germantus there taking the first corner and taking that inside curve, which is probably not the ideal line, certainly getting your car offline, but yeah, it's Caleb Hives out front, so you know he's going to be loving this being in first place. Simonek obviously having a round to forget, which I think we can almost definitely say that this is going to be his drop round. So Caleb Hyde's really good result after the last 2 rounds of race 2 and 3 results going in there. But yeah, and we got Lauer in second, Parmalee and Marquel that are all fighting out for the top 3 places, actually, top 4 places. So really close at the front with a bit of spreading with Germantis here right on the back of Fowler, trying to get that slipstream. But Fowler's obviously got the slipstream with Tulo in front of him, so it's sort of almost going to be negated going down here and see what he can do coming down the start-finish straight, getting right on the back of his bumper, just pulling out to the inside line, and we'll just see if he can get it done into the first corner. Taking that inside line, oh, you have to slow down quite a lot. That outside line, oh, he got it. Great inside toss at the end. He got the corner coming on the outside. Great. Oh, Ronald Moon's coming off there. Didn't see that. Obviously, you saw that, Simon. His car is damaged now. I think his front right-hand tyre is gone.
Yeah, this will be interesting. I doubt. Oh, well, no, he must have hit the wall. I was about to say, I doubt he's hit the wall. There's plenty of grass around this track. Oh no, he's already. Oh, it's a puncture, is it? Oh, well, I love this because, wow, that's quite a rare thing to happen. It's like when something weird happens on FIFA, and you think, wow, that only happens 1 in every 1,000 games. And same with the iRacing simulator. That is bizarre right there, because that can't be the tyres going down to 0 tread, because it's such a short race, obviously. And I don't think he's picked up any damage either, so very disappointing end to the day there for our second place man in the overall championship last season. We are on the last lap of the race, just 10 seconds to go. Caleb Hyde is in the second half of his last lap now. Dan Parmalee was overtaken by Tom McQuell then. And so McQuell up into 3rd position. I think he made that move at the end of the last lap. But Caleb Hyde, what an evening it's been for him. Managed to get 6th place in race 2, but 2 wins tonight, and he significantly cuts his championship deficit. It's his best Apex Racing League evening ever. Caleb Hyde with his 2nd race win of the evening and the race 3 victory right there. Lauer and McQuell make it an awesome evening for Low Grip Racing, finishing on the podium again, and Parmalee finishes top of the AMP drivers once again. And really, we've got 3 more rounds to go, but he's got 1 hand on the trophy already. Chulo just about beats McMullen. Nice battle between those drivers. McMullen was getting closer and closer, but he just fell a little bit short in the end. And Fowler and Sen in 11th and 12th, as we have some big crashes. Not supposed to do that. We'll see if there's any protests for that after the race. Yeah, great racing there, and what an evening for Caleb. I mean, I said that he might be strong around here. He was strong last season around this circuit, but there was no stopping him tonight. He was in a league of his own, it looked like.
Yeah, definitely. I'm quite happy for him as well, because he's had a couple of terrible rounds. You know, 2 unfortunate at Road America where he got hit the car in front of him because the car in front of him didn't go, and the race after that, I think he got the same. So it's a good result for him and a good result for the championship that he's up there again with Simonek. So yeah, really good race for him, and obviously Dan Parmalee again in the AMs, winning all 3 races tonight in the AM category. So he's climbing Mount Everest and doing it very easily at the moment.
Yeah, pretty epic for him tonight, as yeah, there he is. Caleb Hyde at the top of the standings ahead of Philip Lauer. Tom McQuell finishing in 3rd place. Dan Parmalee top of the AMs once again in 4th. Ivan Pinocchio in 5th. Mistake for Pavel Simonek in that race there, and I think that may have just ended his chance of catching up to Pinocchio, but at least he did beat Rafael Franco in the end. Arias Diamantis was in 8th place ahead of Thor Churla, who just about beat Damian McMullen. McMullen and Fowler, the 2nd and 3rd place drivers in the amateur category. Great night actually for Russ Fowler in his first ever ARL meeting. Philippe Sen was in 12th place, then was Colin Samson, Christian Schmitz, Jay Walsh, Andrew Bramer, Victor Lewandowski on his debut didn't quite live up to his good qualifying performance there. Ronald Moons ended with, well, did have to do the penultimate lap at least with a puncture. Darren Doherty was 1 lap down, and then behind that, not scoring points, were Valentini, Healy, Proctor and Arabak. I think we mentioned it earlier on, but of course, if you've enjoyed this broadcast, do please leave a like on the video, subscribe to Apex Racing TV, and check out our Twitch channel as well, where we broadcast all of our races on Apex Racing TV. Slightly lower latency, so it's much easier to use the live timing software if that's what you choose to use. Yeah, if you just prefer to watch your streams over on that platform, then go give us a follow on that over on there, and also check out our Facebook, Twitter and Instagram social media pages as well, where we're constantly posting updates for all the races, little highlights from each of the events on Apex Racing TV, and it can keep you in the loop, and yeah, just good entertainment to pop up on your feed every now and then. So we should have some interviews with the drivers now. They are spoilt, as we have been for most of the season, honestly, with these drivers. They're always willing to have a chat with us. I'm going to first have a chat with Mr. Caleb Hides, who had an absolutely phenomenal meeting tonight. Caleb, congratulations. It just seemed like you were in a different category to everyone tonight. I mean, not only did you get the results, but you had what seemingly was a significant pace advantage over the rest, so it must be a very happy evening for you. Morning for you.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I'm pleased with how it went. I think, to be honest, I was close to perfect. I mean, it was always going to be difficult in the middle race to be able to get up front, and as you probably saw on the broadcast, it was like a pack of 6 cars, and it was really just best for me to stay behind and not get into any trouble, to be in a good position on the redraw for the race 3, but also not to get involved in a wreck, because if you're out of the redraw in the final race, then you're starting way back, and there was no point to like try to do something silly on this tight track. So, but I mean, yeah, race 1 and race 3 win, and then decent result in race 2, the best I mean could hope for, really. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah, you should certainly be. I mean, last season when we visited the circuit, if I recall correctly, you were very strong as well. Do you think that previous race helped you round this circuit with like the overtaking and just to get you up to speed?
Yeah, I absolutely love this track, to be honest. It's just so fun in this car. I mean, it wasn't quite fun today because the baseline setup is so understeery, but I mean, it was still a blast. But yeah, absolutely love this place. Seemed to go decently well every time I come here in the Mazda, so I guess that showed today. And last season, I think we were quick as well. We were able to get pole there, first pole of the season, I believe. So yeah, it's good here. So yeah, enjoyed it.
Next up, we head to Bathurst. Now, there's no excuses for you not to win around there. It's your home circuit. You don't usually get home races, honestly, in iRacing series, seeing that there's not too many Australian circuits on the service. So that one, surely you gotta go in as favourite, no?
Oh yeah, definitely. So excited for that. It's great to see it on the calendar. So that'll be mega fun in this series. We'll have like surely 10 car battles for the win going down Conrad Straight, and I can't wait, really. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah, we're certainly looking forward to it. Congratulations on the race wins tonight, Caleb. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, just massive thank you to my team, Dropman Motorsports, and sponsors, and Cozy Quality Engineering, Sam Blacklock Media, Hybrid Racing Simulations, and Revolution Race Gear.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Caleb. And yeah, see you back in a week's time.
Cheers, guys. Have a good one.
Caleb Hides there with 2 race wins and a 6th position. He's going to be fairly close to the top of the championship after tonight. Andy, who do you want to have a chat with?
Got to be Dan the Man Palmerley, I think. Let's get Dan in. Hi Dan, welcome to the broadcast suite. So another clean sweep of the AM races, race 1, 2, and 3. You got to be over the moon with that.
Oh, Andrew, it was great, but I'll tell you, the stress level is up to here. Getting to run with those pro guys. I mean, they are so quick. And I had burned my tires up in that 3rd race. I was really hoping I was going to be able to maintain that 3rd place, but Tom was able to just get a run on me where he needed to, and I just didn't have the tires left there at the end.
Yeah, you've certainly come on strong in this AM Championship. So you had your Paul Watkin Glenn that obviously we spoke to you after the race. You seemed him quite positive, but since then you've just been on a mission. You know, first 3 places in Interlagos, first 3 places tonight. You've got a commanding lead in the AMs. I suppose you can't hope for anything better in the championship at the moment.
Yeah, just going to try to keep it consistent here. When we go to Bathurst, that's a big wild card for me, really with no experience at that track. But looking forward to Charlotte definitely at the end. But just going to try to keep it consistent these last 3 races.
You're putting yourself in a strong position in the AM Championship. So I assume we're going to see you in the Pro Championship next year then, Dan, is it?
I'll keep coming back wherever you guys put me. I'll race as hard as I can.
Well, you certainly battled hard there with the pros in race 3. It was great to watch on stream, and I was rooting for you to get that 3rd place, but you got pipped there at the end, Dan. So, as you said, we got Bathurst next. Obviously, over that mountain section in one of these cars, it's going to be tricky. And certainly, as you haven't got any experience, it should be interesting for you, Dan.
Yeah, I've been trying to get some practice, and I try not to practice too much. I feel like, once you get past 2-3 hours trying to get better at something, it's kind of just a downhill trend from there. So we'll put in at least an hour or 2 over the next week, and we'll feed the gerbils a little bit extra, and they can maybe help me get up that hill with a little extra horsepower.
Yeah, I need all your help you can get there, but you've got a really commanding lead in the AM Championships at the moment, mate. So congratulations, and 3 rounds left to see if you can keep it going to the end. Thanks for joining us, mate. Is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
Thanks, Andrew. I'll give a shout out to my family there. My parents are watching it at home, and I'll give a shout out to my wife too. She puts up with a lot of iRacing, taking time away from her. So shout out to all of them.
Well, thanks for joining us, Dan, and good luck for the rest of the season, mate. So, Sam, 3 races, 2 races, 3 wins in both races for the AM, so he's going really strong as Dan at the moment.
Yeah, and I've just updated the points as well, and Dan now has a 58-point advantage over Mr. Damien McMullen. And speaking of Mr. Damien McMullen, we are going to be able to have a chat with him right now. Congratulations there, Damien. I mean, I realise you didn't get the amateur race wins, but I mean, 10th, 11th, and 12th. That was a very good meeting for you.
It was just, I say, so consistent. You keep getting to places where I was looking for, try and keep it clean, not damage the car, and just keep the car straight.
How did you find this Lime Rock Park compared to Interlagos? Because they're very different to one another.
It was, but the last race was, the 3rd race was in the dark, so it was grand. I was getting a bit worried that you might, give us another surprise for another race tonight in the dark. But no, 3 daylight race is really great, and the track was lovely, and just I'm happy with the results I got.
You had a really good battle with Thor Churley in that 3rd race. It seemed like you were kind of eking slightly closer, and in the end the 2 of you were separated by 5/100ths of a second. Do you think if you had another lap you would have got him?
More likely he would have got me, because my tires were gone 5 minutes before the end of the race 3, and I was just watching my relative times, and they were catching me, and I should have kept my head down. But look, at the end of the day, came home to get points, and I got 2 podiums, a 2nd in class and 3rd in class, so that's what I was looking for.
We were talking about in the broadcast how good everyone's starts were. Of course, the gearboxes have been changed in these cars a bit since the most recent iRacing build. Has that made a difference to the start procedure?
It has. It's just a bit of a bug, but once you kind of see when it hits the 7,000 to 8,000 revs, it just goes back into normal routine, and you forget about the start, and you just concentrate in the first corner.
Interesting for that. Well, we've got Bathurst next up, Damien. How do you feel about that one?
Can't wait. I've done 12 hours endurance racing on that, and it's a track that I've well known after 12 hours. So when I saw it coming up into this, I was like, yes, Bathurst, up the hill.
Awesome. Well, best of luck for that one, Damien. I'm sure you're not going to
Perfect.
need it anyway. But who would you like to give a shout out to?
I just want to thank you for all your help, and to all my family and my friends. And I just want to especially mention to a friend of mine, Eric. Keep fighting, man. It's good to hear you're on the mend. He was very sick, and he's on the mend now.
Awesome. Well, great to hear. Thanks for having a chat with us, Damien. And yeah, we'll see you back very soon.
Perfect, guys. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Damien.
Damien McMullen there, finishing in 12th, 11th and 10th tonight. I believe maybe even second place in the amateur category in every single one. But of course, when we've got Dan Palmley performing so well, tricky for him to take out those points. So yeah, that's the gap in the amateur championship, 58 points, 658 to 600 points. And in the pro championship, it's not too bad for Pavel Simonek after all of that, because that will be his drop score. And just for an idea of how bad that round was for Simonek, his strangely, just a bit of a coincidence, his scores have got worse as the season's gone on. So he's gone from 218 to 204, 203, 197, and then tonight 144. It was 50 points lower than his next worst score. But with the drop score, it's not too bad. And compare that to Caleb Hyde's drop score of 162, and that has really helped Powell out. But no doubt now, heading into a few tricky circuits, you know, Bathurst you can easily crash, Charlotte Roval as well you can easily crash as well, Andy. Powell can't afford a bad meeting from here on in, otherwise it will almost certainly count, because this meeting was so bad for him.
Yeah, that's what we were saying at the start, Sam. You know, his drop round was this. He clearly knew that this was going to be his drop round, but it puts him under pressure now for the last 3 rounds that he's got to perform well, and he can't have what he had tonight. Otherwise, Caleb will be right on him. What will be interesting is in the AM, because we spoke to Dan Palmley there, and he hasn't had any practice around Bathurst, but Damien's obviously done a lot of endurance races, so we will know the track very well. So it'd be interesting to see the AM outcome on that, whether it's experience over 2-hour practice within that championship. So yeah, the pro championships all to play for, and the AM championships, although Dan's getting away, it seems like we've got some good tracks coming up for both the drivers.
Yes, yeah, good point. With how much practice Damien's got, could certainly be very useful. I mean, Bathurst's going to be absolutely mental, is it not? We've had Radicals last Friday around that track, and you know, that was pretty entertaining. But in these cars, which have a much stronger slipstream effect, we are going to see 10 car battles or so. It's going to be pretty remarkable, and something we've never really seen in this series. We've never had a street course, really. I think Charlotte Roval's probably the kind of craziest circuit we've visited, honestly, and that's really not too much off the wall. So I mean, Bathurst, super long circuit, super long straights. It's going to be a return to the slipstream racing we've seen for a couple of rounds this season.
Yeah, it is. And also you got that mountain section, which is treacherous. I mean, I've tried driving around there in various cars, and I just can't get that mountain section. It's so technical, and you've got to take them lines well. And the thing with the MX-5 is that they are twitchy cars, and you will find yourself sliding around on that mountain section. Coming down into the lower half of the section, like you say, you got some really long straights, so we will see some big slipstreaming coming down there. But I think the race is going to be won and lost in that mountain section. That's where I think the race is going to go to in that part of the track.
That's going to be incredible viewing on Apex Racing TV. Make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe to Apex Racing TV, because you're much more likely to get it popped up in your subscriptions box, or even in your recommended. If you do leave it a like, we'd super appreciate that as well. Big thanks, of course, to Virtual Racing School, to SDK Gaming, and to Apex Racing Academy for their support of the series. Links to each of them is in the description below, and also you can find a link as well to apexracingleague.com, where you can check out the announcements for the upcoming ARL Prototypes Championship, and also the Apex Racing Academy Formula 3 Virtual Racing School Championship as well. Those on Friday and Saturday night respectively. Yeah, check out the news section on apexracingleague.com, and you can see all the details about them for those shows, which are starting in the next fortnight or so. But for now, from myself, Sam Fitzpatrick, from Andy Thompson, and from Sam Kuma, we are going to say goodbye, and we'll see you next time out in the Apex Racing League Mazda Cup at Bathurst. See you then.